Shalom, beloved. This is Sophia, the American Miriam, and what we have here is your 2024 progressions on your AstroTarotGraphy tree of life, and I call this the fruits of the tree. So this is the layout of your challenges and potential issues, and also how you can overcome them for the upcoming year. And just before I get into what all of these placements mean and all of that, it definitely seems like there's quite a few challenges in here, like with your Saturn placement, your Mars placement, and of course this Two of Swords, the placement that will constantly come up for you. Even this devil energy could be a little bit challenging. You do have some very helpful placements, like the Two of Cups placement, the Six of Wands placement, and of course the Ten of Cups placement and the World card that should be able to help you navigate through these challenges. So I would say overall, this is probably going to be a challenging year. I would say this is not going to be one of those years where things are going to go super, super smoothly. However, you will make it through this year. And because you have dealt with the things from the roots of the tree, so you have all the skills that are necessary to deal with the challenges that come from this year. So the first challenge we see, of course, is this Ten of Cups energy in reverse. So the Ten of Cups in reverse is feeling neglected, poor timing, and shattered dreams. So this could just mean that, of course, your year starts with you having these plans that you want to do with your family, and they just don't seem to be able to come together. And that's that's a very, very tough way to start your year. And then that's going to be followed directly up by this Five of Wands energy. And of course, the Five of Wands is strength, competition, and conflict. So you're going to come right out the gate with family being out of order, and not being able to feel that happy that you want to feel. And that's going to be followed directly by this conflict amongst a group of people, probably in your family, and people just not being able to come to the proper conclusions or interpret things right or whatever. It's very, it's going to be very, very tough. And then that's followed by your part of fortune, which is in this devil energy. So, of course, temptation. The devil is temptation, violence, bondage to matter, lust, black magic, the Lord of the gates of matter. So this is the kind of energy where you will be tempted to make decisions that are not going to be good for you, that are going to take you off your path. And so you have to really pull in your inner strength. And remember, you have the World card that you can start a cycle over at any time. So when this energy gets too tough, you go into that the high, don't forget you have the High Priestess as your ascendant. You go into that High Priestess intuition energy to overcome these more tough, difficult placements that come with these temptations that are going to come up. However, it is in your earth placement, so we have to always keep in mind that these things are not happening to you, they're happening for you. So these temptations, this black magic, this bondage to matter, things that are coming up are actually for your good. They're going to help you progress through this year successfully, because you have this very difficult Two of Swords energy that's coming up, at the top. So your first 6, 12, 18 weeks of your year from your birthday is going to probably be really tough. No, 18 to wait. Yeah, 24. This first 24 weeks is probably going to be, because each card represents about 6 weeks, right? So your first 24 weeks are going to be pretty difficult of your year, because the next card you have is this Swords energy. Let me get to it. This Swords energy, which is the Eight of Swords, which is overthinking, self-criticism, and entrapment. So you after you have to deal with all of this temptation that's going to come up in this time, and this black magic that's going to be thrown at you that really doesn't have anything to do with you, but the temptation and all this stuff, this stuff that's going to be thrown at you, then you're just going to go right into this, overthinking, self-criticism and entrapment. So you're just going to go into this entrapment energy. So you can get through the first 24 weeks, which is what, 5 months of your year. 5 months, 24, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 6 months. If you can get through your first 6 months about of your year, so maybe it's 4 months, 4.5 months, maybe it's not 6 weeks, maybe it's 5 weeks, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, yeah, 5 weeks and some days. If you get through 4 months, 4 months and some days, if you get through your first 5, 10, 15, 20 weeks of your year, which is 4 months, 4, 8, 5 months, right? Well, if you get through the first 5 months of your year, I'm sorry I had to do all that math, things will get a lot easier for you. Because your next card or your next step on the tree is going to be like Jupiter, which will be the 6th month of the year. Of course, you can, go back and put these over the different, it's about 5 weeks and 2 days for each card. So you can look at when these troubling times are going to come up for your year to help you decide when you should make decisions. So you're not just making decisions at all the wrong times. It'll be at times that are going to be in your best interest. So if you can get through, like I said, the first 5 months of your year, when you get to your Jupiter energy that's going to come up, it'll be Cups. You'll have this 10 of Cups. So you'll have love, satisfaction, and harmony. And then that will be followed by the 2 of Cups, which is going to be love, friendship, and connection. So you have heavy family energy coming in after for real, like 10 whole weeks, which is what, 2.5 months. Once you get through the first 5 months of your year, which are going to be pretty difficult. Then you'll get, I would say, like reunited with your family, reconnected with your loved ones. That energy will start to come in. Your next placement you have is your Mercury, which is in Gemini, and that is the 8 of Swords energy. And the 8 of Swords, 8 of Wands, I'm sorry, 8 of Wands energy. And the 8 of Wands is travel, movement, communication. So I would look for like vacations or moving, if you have anything like that, to be coming up during that time period, your Mercury time period, and also your Venus time period, because you can see the guy is on a horse moving. So like literally that would be like when you're going to be probably doing the most moving around, the most traveling. But that's not really bad, because the travel, the movement, the communication is also being protected. So I would say that Gemini, that Mercury energy, that Venus energy is the time where you're going to be protected in your movement. Your movement's not going to be just, oh, you're moving around or whatever. It's going to be protected, right? Because you have all those Wands energy. And then your Venus placement is the 6 of Wands, which is victory, success, and good news. So again, you have this whole 10 weeks that's going to be like all happiness, all victory, all good news, all great things. And remember, in your chart of your regular progressions, you got to remember that you don't want to get too far off in that energy, because it triggers it triggers your south node, 10 of cups in reverse energy. So even though you'll have basically, 5, 10, 15, 20 weeks of like good news, so you have 20 weeks of bad news, 20 weeks of good news, right? And so you don't want to re-trigger this bad sort of 5 months by going too overboard with your family, going too overboard with your movements, with your what is that, six, with your good news, because it's going to take a while. You still got a ways to go before you can get to this good news energy, which nobody wants to hear, right? Like, this is not really like, oh, well, I'm so excited about this. No, this isn't. Nobody wants to hear this, but that's what it's showing, because and it's also a point to prepare, because you're going to have to go into this Two of Swords energy, which, remember, the Two of Swords is indecision, solutions, and difficulty. So you're going to have to take those 20 weeks of good news, because you're going to have, after your 20 weeks of tough energy, then you're going to have 20 weeks of really great energy for you. And then that's going to be followed up by about 5 weeks of really, really tough conflict, indecision, I like about a month, like 2 months out before your birthday. It's going to be a lot of conflict, a lot of indecision. And so you want to really build yourself up to be able to go through that. Because remember, you can always trigger the start of a new cycle. Don't forget to use your High Priestess energy. That's what's on your Ascendant and your intuition. And you'll be able to navigate through this energy a little bit better. But this is the energy that's going to be coming towards you. And then your last placement, which is right leading directly up to your birthday in 2024, is going to be your North Node in Pisces, which is the World card. And so remember, the World card is the start of a new cycle, culmination, perfection, and you'll be starting your new cycle. And so, but remember, you're always going to start your new cycle with some kind of conflict in your family. So every time you start a new year cycle, it's going to start with some kind of conflict in your family. You can just expect that. And you can't prevent it. So don't think that, oh, I know this information, I'm going to stop this from happening. That's not what that is. What you will be able to do is to prepare yourself for it. And also to prepare your loved ones and say, we're going to have a tough period coming up here. So, everybody keep your cool, because it's coming. And every year, around your birthday, it's going to start out with this sort of tough energy as it relates to your family. So you can take, the 20 weeks when things are good, and really, really lay down a strong foundation emotionally and get your vibration really high, so that you can glide right through this 5 weeks that's going to be a little tough, and then go right into the start of this new cycle. And you can really lessen the impact of that energy. Let's see if you are able to reverse that energy. Let me look at the Two of Swords in reverse. It says torn, skepticism, a negative mind, but I saw a different meaning for the Two of Swords too. Hold on. I can't find it. But you could also use that to balance. And if you are able to lean into your partner when you're going to have this difficult time, and maybe defer to them, because twos are always about balance and finding the middle ground, then that may be helpful too. So, like, the rest of the year, I would say, is kind of like you are running the show. Like whatever you except for you have your son that's in the Two of Cups, but that's when you're kind of going to be celebrating. So that's when you could take the time to build up your partner, so that when you get into your more negative energy, which is this Two of Swords, you can lean on them to carry out what you need to carry out, to do what needs to be done. And you can take less of a role, especially in a family setting, if you're able to take less of a decision maker role at that time and turn the decisions over to your partner or your spouse, or just not really commit to making a lot of decisions at that time. That can lessen the impact and the influence of that Two of Swords energy. So then you can navigate around that and just say, well, I haven't had to make any decisions because I don't make decisions at this time, Because in your 5, your sun energy, which is in Cancer, that's a time when you make a bunch of decisions together, because you have two people. They're putting their cups together. They're creating health. They're creating wealth. They're creating a lot of stuff. They're putting it together. But you see, your Two of Swords energy is one person by themselves. So that means you have to lean into your sun energy, which in this year is going to be in this Two of Cups. So that would be leaning into your partner, or leaning into who is partnered with you in general. Maybe not necessarily like your physical partner, but your spiritual partners, your spiritual team. Leaning into your spiritual team. Leaning into your spiritual team to help you navigate this really, really difficult time. Instead, so you're making a decision blind, but you're using, again, your High Priestess energy, your intuition, to let the decisions be made for you. So instead of navigating through this time and making a wrong decision, you're not making any decisions. You're letting either your partner, your spiritual team, somebody else that you have a soul tie with, help you make your decisions, so that you're not acting irrationally or doing things that's going to re-trigger this South Node energy, because the South Node energy is coming. And the worst thing you could do is re-trigger the South Node energy right before you're getting ready to go into your new cycle. Because after your new cycle, you're going to have to go back into your South Node energy. So instead of like having this be a double whammy of triggering your South Node, then having to make all these really tough decisions, making all the wrong really tough decisions, getting to the end of your cycle, having everything be messed up, and then triggering that South Node energy, which is going to be hard anyway, too early. You can let it happen with time. If you get to, like I said, the end of about 2.5 months out from your birthday, you just kind of say, you know what? I'm on a mental vacation. I'm not really making any decisions. I'm going to lay really low. And, that would probably be a good time to fast at 5 weeks for you, to just stay focused and let the spirits really, guide you on how you can get through that time without too much, doing too much, inflicting too much damage on yourself. Because the worst thing about this Two of Swords energy is that you can cut yourself. I mean, you got the swords on each side. If you move one, you may it's real dangerous for you. It's not affecting anybody else. The swords are on you, on your back. And so if you move too fast and you make the wrong decision, you can really inflict yourself with this energy, which you want to try to avoid as best as you can. And you do that by, I would definitely be looking into fasting at that time, for real. And leaning into your spiritual team, your partner, your spiritual partners, anybody, to help you navigate through that time without making a bunch of horrible decisions, so that you can get to your world card energy, your culmination of the cycle, without too much, suffering. Not that there's not going to be suffering. Of course, it's going to be suffering, but it doesn't have to impact you too hard. If you spend your first 20 weeks, your first 5 months, knowing that you're going to have to deal with that Five of Swords energy and really building up your ability to resist the temptation of the devil, resist the conflict, Resist to being blindfolded and tied down. If you can get through your first 20 weeks resisting those energies, when you get to it at the end of your year, you're going to be like, okay, this is a walk in the park. Because look at these negative energies you got to deal with at the beginning of the year. By the time you get to that part of the year, you're gonna be like, man, I already know how I'm gonna handle this. Boom, 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 boom. And you can be asking, like I always say, ask the questions. How do I deal with this energy when it comes up? Fasting is what came to mind for me. That's what would make sense to me. But, ask your spiritual team, okay, how should I be preparing myself when the times are good and you're in this Jupiter energy for when the times are bad? And don't neglect any of the things you already have on the table, like your high priestess energy, like your ability to trigger the start of a new cycle at any time, like your Queen of Wands energy. And then those things can help you navigate through this a little bit easier because you always have those placements for you. But this is just the energies, the tests and the trials that are going to come up, and kind of like when they're going to come up, so you can prepare yourself. It's not like, you're always running trying to figure out what's going on. You literally know what's going on because you have this roadmap. And this is very, very interesting. So I hope this is helpful for you. I hope that this makes sense. It's a lot more here that I could really read into. But I feel like, you can explore these placements and this stuff on your own and really come to a better understanding of what it means for you. But I think that this is hopefully a really good place to start. So, again, Shalom. Thank you for allowing me to read your chart. And let me know if there's anything that I can do.